I wouldn't be boxing if it wasn't for Muhammad Ali. My parents were huge Ali fans, boxing fans, and as a youngster growing up, seeing how specifically Muhammad Ali entertained my parents, and you know, he was always the talking point, you know, talking about how great he was, you know. And as a kid, I wanted to be that guy, and I wanted to be on a TV. I wanted to be the guy that, you know, the world looked at, and he was the biggest inspiration for me growing up. And even as an elder, when I got to my teens, and I actually looked at in depth, you know, the stands he made, like for the Vietnam War, and you know, for race relations, all the humanitarian work that he did, you know, throughout his life of campaigning. It shows, you know, he was one of the greatest, you know, inside of the ring, if you're looking at a purist technical boxing side of things, and then outside of the ring, you know, he really did live it. And for me, you know, he doesn't get any bigger or better than the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali.
It's obvious that he's had a big influence on your career from what you've just said there, but am I right in thinking you actually campaigned to get him an honorary knighthood? Yeah,
I did do. In February, you know, I sort of campaigned as I got like 25,000 votes on a change.org to try to, because I realised his health wasn't the greatest, but, you know, I thought there was enough. They were talking about him coming over to the Ali exhibition at the O2. So I thought, you know, what more can we do, you know, as a country than give him our highest honour? You know, we've given the likes of Kevin Spacey, Pele, Steven Spielberg, Bono an honorary knighthood, and Ali somehow slipped through the cracks. We haven't honoured this amazing human being who's touched so many people. You know, in the UK, he's spent a lot of time over here, and unfortunately, it didn't get through in time. I'm really gutted about that. But, you know, I'm not sure the technicalities of it can still be done, but if it could be, you know, I think, you know, looking at his body of work, as I said, inside and outside of the ring, there's nobody, I can't think of anybody else, any other human being on the planet who deserves, you know, the recognition from England.
And we know that he was so much more than a boxer. You've touched on that already. But in the ring, how does the heavyweight division that he was competing in compare to any other era? Was it quite simply the hardest one to dominate like he did?
Yeah, he had some of the toughest, strongest, most durable fighters around. You know, compared to the fighters of today, you know what he had to go through, the struggles he had to go through being a black man in America, you know, growing up in, you know, the 60s, and, you know, it's 60s, 70s, it was a tough place to be. But, you know, he went to the Olympics, he got a gold medal at the Olympics, and he was around, you know, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, Larry Holmes, some of the greatest ever heavyweights of all time, and it was all around at the same time, and they all fought each other, and they all gave their lives and souls to the sport of boxing and to the fans. And that's why I believe, you know, the Ali era in heavyweight boxing could be considered the best ever era in heavyweight boxing. You know, I don't think we can compare to it nowadays in any way, shape or form. You know, they used to fight for 15 rounds. The gloves they wore had barely any padding in it. It was a lot more physically tough. You know, the referee really let them fight. And I think us heavyweights nowadays, you know, I think we're a bit soft compared to, you know, what these guys used to put themselves through. Plus, they used to fight so regular as well. You know, only fighting, you know, once every 2 or 3 weeks on some occasions. That shows that, you know, the physical condition he was in was tremendous.